Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Family Sedan channel. Another judge has just ripped the SEC to shreds in another crypto-related case, and yeah, I love to see it. So I'm happily reporting this to you. So in this latest room temperature jam, I'm going to give you two updates. First, I'll be covering what's happening in the Coinbase lawsuit, and I'll share with you perspective from three attorneys. That'd be Attorney John Deaton, Attorney Grewal, Paul Grewal, he's the chief legal officer at Coinbase, and also Attorney James Murphy. And honestly, the part that actually arguably is going to be a little bit more fun will be the second part of the video when we get to the stuff about Binance. Because the stuff about Binance, this is where the judge just ain't having it. And so I'm sure that by now everybody's aware, but just in case, that the SEC has sued Binance US. They've been seeking to freeze Binance US's assets, which, frankly, I don't see. I mean, unless there's actual true fraud, I don't see how that's actually going to protect any of the investors that they say that they're trying to protect. But anyway, the judge was just absolutely. She just couldn't believe the crap that she was hearing from these SEC attorneys. And we keep seeing this again. It's not just the SEC v. Ripple case. There's been multiple instances of this. And on that front, Attorney John Deaton had something to say, as well as Attorney James Murphy. But before going further, I do want to be clear. I do not have a legal or financial background of any kind. I am not offering legal or financial advice. And you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun, damn it. And if you don't like it, well, you can just get out. Now, last summer, Coinbase requested that the SEC make clear their rulemaking process as it pertains to crypto. And by the time April of this year rolled around, they hadn't done anything. So you know what Coinbase did? Coinbase sued the SEC in April of this year. And it was I believe it was a writ of mandamus, if memory serves here. And it was basically just asking a judge to force the SEC to do their damn jobs as it pertains to rulemaking processes in the world of crypto. That's pretty much it. They've been leaving us hanging. There's not sufficient clarity. Now, the truth is we know that the SEC is on the attack against crypto. That's very clear. But that was the purpose. But there's been a development. So there was this, and I'm doing a little bit of table setting here just to make sure that everything that I say after this makes sense. Here was the news from June 7th, so a week ago, from CoinDesk. U.S. court tells SEC to respond to Coinbase's rulemaking petition within a week. And so after April, it was within the last couple of weeks, the SEC sued Coinbase. And I'm assuming that all of you know that, or just about all of you, but again, I have to just be safe because if you don't, then none of the rest of this is going to make sense. And as a result of the SEC suing Coinbase, the judge said, okay, well, as it pertains to this rulemaking process that the SEC just hasn't responded to, you have 7 days to respond and make things clear whether you're going to provide this, sort of clarity for the rulemaking. I'm paraphrasing, but clarity for the rulemaking process, or if you're not. That's pretty much it. Which leads us to the brand new story. The latest news from Decrypt. SEC refuses to respond to Coinbase's rulemaking petition following lawsuit. So here, and I think this is going to piss off the judge, frankly, the SEC is not adhering to the demand from the judge. Does this sound familiar yet? I don't see how, it's just I don't see how the SEC can continue to act like this and think that they're not getting away with it even. I just think that it's the ego these people have, and it must be coming from the top down and the demands and the direction that they're telling these lawyers they must go. I can only imagine, I can only speculate, which is what this is. What else could it be? Historically, has the SEC behaved like this? Historically? I don't know. Maybe I just don't know. Maybe they've been like this for a long time. I guess that's possible. I mean, they have done shady things even going back within the last 20 years, but has it always been to this degree? I guess that's my question here. So check this out. This is from Decrypt. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission today said it had not decided on whether to clarify new crypto rules after America's biggest crypto exchange, Coinbase, made a special request for the top regulator to do so. In a Tuesday filing, the Wall Street regulator said it, quote, has not decided what action to take on Coinbase's rule-making petition, end quote. It comes after the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Third Circuit's Judge Cheryl Ann Krause, who noted the SEC's lawsuit filed last week, ordered the SEC to reveal whether it has decided to deny Coinbase's petition. That petition, filed last year, asked the SEC to clarify its rules on which assets should be regarded as securities and how to regulate digitally native securities. So again, the judge ordered the SEC to provide that clarity, and the SEC didn't do that. They said, quote, has not decided, the SEC, quote, has not decided what action to take on Coinbase's rulemaking petition, end quote. So they just didn't do it. Is that going to go over well with this judge? I wouldn't think so. I'm just going to hazard, I'm going to tiptoe out to the ledge here. Hope I don't fall over. I'm going to hazard the guess that the judge ain't going to take too kindly to that. Piece continues. The SEC last week hit America's biggest crypto exchange with a lawsuit alleging that it operated for years as an unlicensed securities exchange and elevated its interest in increasing its profits over investors' interests, end quote. Gag me. No. If anything, it's the exact opposite. It's the SEC that doesn't have the interests of investors at heart and mind. And so this is the point where Paul Grewal jumps in. Paul Grewal is the chief legal officer at Coinbase, and here's what he had to say. A few minutes ago, the SEC filed its response to last week's Third Circuit. You can read it for yourself below together with my own initial read of it. Number 1, they repeat the fallacy that they haven't made any decision on new crypto rules. Number 2, they refuse to commit to any deadline despite the court's explicit order. Number 3, they instead anticipate, and that's a quote, anticipate making a, quote, recommendation in 120 days. 120 is this within the order of what the judge put out there? I don't think so. And most importantly, and here Grewal says number 4, they ignore the clear statements of the chair that confirm they have no intent to issue new rules and instead conflate the evidence of a decision those statements provide with an argument that the statements are themselves a decision. So think about this. Gary Gensler has made it very clear, he's made it very clear that the rules are already clear. So when the SEC is saying, yeah, well, instead anticipate making a recommendation 120 days, well, wait a minute, that's in conflict with what the SEC chair Kim Jong-Gensler has to say. Kim Jong-Gensler says that everything's already really clear, so why would you have to issue anything? You think the judge isn't going to notice something like that? They really think that all the judges are the stupid? In my experience, following multiple crypto cases now, I think the answer is yes. They just see what they can get away with. Throw spaghetti at the wall, see if it sticks. That's pretty much it here. And so Grewal, again, writes also, instead conflate the evidence of a decision those statements provide with an argument that the statements are themselves the decision. So there you go. They put out a statement that they're going to make a statement about something, and then that's the decision. What? It's incoherent nonsense. It's completely incoherent. And so Attorney John Deaton retweeted that, and he said, I truly believe good judges will continue to see the bad faith coming from the SEC. Judge Nepern in the Ripple case stated the SEC, quote, lacks faithful allegiance to the law, end quote. The judge in Voyager took the SEC to task. The judges in the Grayscale appeal openly questioned SEC inconsistencies. Hopefully, the judge here orders them to respond within 30 days. Yeah, so again, it's multiple cases, and he's absolutely spot on with this. And I've been covering this on my channel as things have been developing with the Grayscale and Voyager, obviously the SEC v. Ripple case. Now we got the Coinbase case. I think that the judge's going to snap at them at some point if they keep acting like this. And here you have attorney James Murphy, who goes by the name Meta Lawman on Twitter, responding to John. He says, John, I agree. With Judge Berman not rubber stamping the SEC's temporary restraining order and asking some hard questions at the hearing today, it feels like the worm just might be turning. Excuse me. I hope your XRP holders get the clarity they deserve from Judge Torres real soon. And then John Deaton just says, you and me both, brother. Ain't that the truth? Now, you want to see some more fireworks, though. And this is a bit more spicy. This is a fun one here. And again, it's in line with what we've come to expect from the asshat attorneys, those little pricks over at the SEC, which, as far as I'm concerned, are spawns of Satan, with Kim Jong-Gensler effectively being Satan. So here's the headline from CoinDesk. U.S. judge rebuffs SEC request for Binance U.S. asset freeze for now. The federal judge overseeing the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission's case against Binance and Binance U.S. declined to order a temporary restraining order freezing the U.S. trading platform's assets. That would allow the U.S. arm of the company to continue doing business while hashing out restrictions with the regulator. If the two sides can agree on limits, Judge Amy Berman Jackson of the D.C. District Court said, quote, "There's absolutely no need," end quote, for a restraining order. In the meantime, the judge ordered Binance US to provide a list of its business expenses to the court and ordered the parties to continue negotiating. A status update is due by the close of business Thursday. In a packed Washington courtroom, and this is where it's fun, the judge hammered the SEC. The judge hammered SEC attorneys about their motion to freeze all of the company's assets until it could prove that no one from Binance's global platform, including Changping Zhao, CZ for short, had access to its private keys. Now, folks, again, you probably already figured this out on your own, but that would mean the destruction of the company. Is that in the best interest of investors and anybody that has anything on the platform? Or would that would that just cause chaos and devastation and financial harm? What would it do? And so the SEC pushing for something like this, they are just they're taking a sledgehammer to this whole thing. It's not about seeking truth and justice. It's about destroying on an absolute, drunken rampage. That's what it's more like. Piece continues. At times, the judge seemed frustrated by the responses she was hearing when asking whether any Binance US customer funds had actually left the US after multiple SEC attorneys said they were mainly concerned about the fact that Binance's global platform controlled enough private key shards to move funds. Yeah, well, folks, I bet she was frustrated, wouldn't you be? You keep asking all of the asshat prick attorneys, hey, what's going on here? Just give me a straight answer. Binance U.S. customer funds, have they left the U.S.? And then they just respond with, well, we're concerned about, the fact that Binance's global platform controls enough private key shards to move funds. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, but have they moved the funds? And then just not getting a freaking actual real answer because you don't want reality to be reality because it doesn't further your monstrous goal. That's what it is. And so here's what the judge said, quote, "I want to know if it's happening or not. It's stunning that I've asked each of you this," end quote. Look at that. So again, what do we keep seeing in case after case after case? The same stuff. There is something wrong with the SEC from the top down. There very clearly is. I don't know if it's always been like this to this degree. I know that there have been, obviously, even in recent decades, I know there have been instances where there have been some questionable things for sure from the SEC. I'm not pretending like I didn't know. Of course, I know that. Has it always been like that to this degree? Because again, pick your crypto case. It's the same crap in every single one. Are they always like this literally, and have they always literally been this bad since the advent of the SEC? Because that would be amazing. I don't see how this is tolerable. I really don't. Attorney James Murphy, again, meta lawman here, wrote, "Breaking SEC v. Binance hearing. Judge does not enter SEC's requested asset freeze order. Judge encourages parties to try to come to an agreed compromise order and report back on Thursday. The judge apparently caught on that there was no actual emergency." So again, think about this. There's no emergency. She was able to figure that out on her own. And here you have the demon monster SEC attorneys trying to destroy a business based on no evidence of imminent threat. There's no actual emergency. That's what they're doing. This is a despicable organization. And then Attorney Murphy says, "I am told the judge pressed the SEC lawyers on whether they had any actual evidence of Binance customer assets being moved overseas. They had none." Yeah, that's right. And the SEC attorneys hemmed and hawed and blah, blah, blah. Don't answer the judge, but that pisses off the judge. See, they're not acting in faithful allegiance to the law. They will say or not say things just to get towards closer to their desired goal, what they think is going to do that. This is awful. It's despicable. They should be absolutely ashamed of themselves. Attorney Deaton retweeted a tweet from James Murphy and said, "When you don't have truth, justice, and honor as your guide as a prosecutor, your lack of faithfulness to the law will become evident. Name a case the SEC hasn't looked bad in." John, I can't. I don't know. Nothing crypto related anyway. I can't think of one. Here's another tweet from Attorney Deaton. He said, "How do you win the war waged by a bad faith regulator? In court until Congress does its job." End quote. And that's a sad reality. All we can do is just patiently wait as it's hashed out, which takes years. Cases take years. Hashed out in court. Because Congress isn't doing its job either. The incompetency of the people running our country never ceases to amaze me. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the Moon Family Sedan.